Uhuru Kenyatta's name has been a subject of discussion among the circles of power since the election in the AU, where Raila Amolo Odinga lost to secure his bid for the African Union chairmanship. Now, the question that has been asked by many: why was Uhuru Kenyatta quiet all this while and did not make an attempt to campaign for Raila Amolo Odinga to become the next AU chairman? That was the question that was asked several times. And the ODM leaders and some members of parliament and members of county assembly went ahead to accuse President Uhuru Kenyatta for sabotaging the election of Raila Amolo Odinga in the African Union, where he is said to have lobbied support for one Djibouti candidate, Yusuf Mahmoud, who won against Raila Amolo Odinga. Now the news are coming out. Details are being revealed on the position that Uhuru Kenyatta is high in the world stage, and that is why he did not want Raila Amolo Odinga to secure that seat. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta was on the front line in the year 2022 campaigning for Raila Amolo Odinga. He did everything in his power as the President of the Republic of Kenya to make sure that Raila Odinga won the election. But William Ruto outplayed them. William Ruto won against them. Now, Uhuru is very young, and he knew he was very young even after he left the presidency, which means he has to look for something to do for the next years, that the energy that he has for the next few years. Right now, the world union, the African Union is a seat that he would not make an attempt at, because he knew Raila Amolo Odinga had made his ambitions for that position first before him. So William Ruto had to stay away from that. I mean, Uhuru Kenyatta had to stay away from that. But he wouldn't stay away unless he had a valid reason to do what? To stay away. He did not want to vie against Raila Amolo Odinga. And apart from vying, he did not want to campaign against, to declare his support openly for Raila Amolo Odinga. Why? It is because Uhuru Kenyatta is eyeing the United Nations seat, the United Nations Secretary General, which is currently being held by Minister Guterres, Prime Minister Guterres. Guterres is the current Secretary General of the United Nations. And, the United Nations seat circulates in different parts of the world. And as of right now, it is coming in the East African region. Now, who is more suited in the African region to vie for that seat or to go to try and win that seat more than Uhuru Kenyatta? He knew if Raila Amolo Odinga wins, he will become AU chairman. And a country cannot hold the African Union chairman and also a UN Secretary General position. So he had to make sure that Raila Amolo Odinga loses that so that he can go for the UN seat. Why am I saying this? If you look at it in general, William Ruto is the chairperson of EAC, the East African Community Bloc. Raila Amolo Odinga, if he had won, we would also have the African Union seat. Now tell me, what would make Uhuru Kenyatta valid to be elected as the UN Secretary General? Nothing, because your country has two key positions in the world stage. The East African Community chairperson is your president, that is William Ruto, and the African Union chairperson that is from your country, that is Raila Amolo Odinga. So tell us why we should give you all these key positions in a small country called Kenya. So Uhuru Kenyatta had to lobby support for the Djibouti candidate so that Raila Amolo Odinga does not win against Yusuf Mohammed. And that is why Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta flew uh, to Addis Ababa days before the president went there, days before Raila Amolo Odinga went there, so that he would hold meeting with different leaders there. And apart from that, he also had to meet with the Secretary General of the UN, Guterres, so that they would speak and see. You would try and seek support from Guterres. But apart from that, yesterday the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was in Germany, where he held a meeting with the current Germany president, and the office of the fourth president of the Republic of Kenya made the news official that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was in Germany. He had held a meeting with the president of Germany, and pictures were shared on social media. Now, this tells you that Uhuru Kenyatta has started, the position that is held by Guterres is about to lapse. His time in office is about to be over. So Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is starting his campaign early. Uhuru Kenyatta to be nominated as a candidate for the UN Secretary General position. Now, Kenyans have had different opinions about this. Discussions have emerged on Twitter on whether Kenya should nominate former President Uhuru Kenyatta for the position of the United Nations Secretary General. The debate sparked by the Kenyan Times on social media platforms uh, has received mixed reactions, with some supporting the idea while others questioning Kenya's credibility on the global stage. One major concern raised by critics is Kenya's governance record, particularly issue of corruption, human rights violation, and alleged abduction. Joseph Webo argued that Kenya must first clean its house before seeking global leadership. Similarly, Jasper Lahisia pointed out Kenya's alleged involvement in the abduction of Ugandan opposition figure Dr. Kizza Besigye, suggesting it could damage Kenya's international standing. Now, others, however, see an opportunity for Africa. Kwaniko Mwaniki noted that the UN leadership traditionally rotates, with Africa and Eastern Europe likely to have a chance. He believes Africa should unite behind one of its own. However, Peter Simpale pointed out that a candidate must be fluent in at least 3 international languages to qualify. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is fluent in English, he is fluent in Swahili, and he is fluent in German. If you didn't know that, now you know. Uhuru Kenyatta did not study in Kenya most of his life. So he is a man that has studied also a few other languages. Shem Muremi says, as far as Kenya feel oppressed and they are not, Kenyans feel oppressed and they are not prioritized in terms of development, respect to their individual rights, and government listening to their grievances, reduced opulence and embezzlement of funds, no candidate will win any regional, international position. Uh, a lot of Kenyans have different things to say about this, but one factual thing that has stood out is that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta actually is going to front himself as the candidate for the UN Secretary General. Ask me why. Uhuru has been negotiating on the Congo War, the DR Congo War. Now that is something that he has tried to have a peaceful negotiation between the president of Congo and the M23 rebels. But he claimed that his office has received a lot of criticism and a lot of stumbling blocks from William Ruto's government. And if he secures the bid to be the UN Secretary General, then he will have the power to at least negotiate and make a pact between the M23 rebels and the Congo government. Are we together? And we all know Uhuru Kenyatta hajazeeka vile that he should exit the stage now, go rest and wait for death. No. He feels that he has something to offer to the world. And that is why he did not publicly declare his support for Raila Amolo Odinga? You know, a lot of people asked that question, by the way. Why did Uhuru Kenyatta, while all other leaders were speaking about Raila Amolo Odinga's candidature in the African Union, Uhuru Kenyatta remained quiet? It's because Uhuru Kenyatta knew that Raila Amolo Odinga is not going to win. So I have a chance to the UN Secretary General position. Wewe kama mtazamaji wa the Kenyan Daily Report, maoni yako ni yapi haswa that the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is seeking to represent Kenya in the UN Secretary General election? Because as of right now, you know, the Eastern Europe right now ndio wako in power. Currently ndio wako in power. Right now, the East Africa inahitaji kutoa candidate. And we all know who is a very credible candidate other than President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. For now, that's what's up. Leave your comment on the comment section. Tell me what you think about this. Should Uhuru make his bid to the UN? See you in our next video.